everyone, and welcome back to Hardcore. Be quiet, I'm trying to do my intro. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Minecraft Hardcore One Biome Mesa Edition. Does that make sense? Mesa Edition? Maybe that works, I don't know. Anyway, last episode we built this house I'm currently standing on top of to have our bed and some decoration and our crafting set up downstairs, along with storage, which is currently empty, but we'll get onto that eventually. Right now the storage is still sitting there. I do need copper golems as well, hopefully, to sort this for me. But that's not one plan I work on today. Maybe we'll get to a bit later. But my primary intention today is to move on to this. If you remember in the first episode, you guys are so loud and obnoxious and annoying, it's unreal. If you remember in the first episode, right here, I said about having a mine entrance that goes all the way down, inspired by my portal design last series, whatever it's called, in Hardcore One Biome Tiger, which ended sadly right after I built my portal room. And I really like the design of that, so I want to do something similar here, which might be a bit crazy. It might be a lot of work, but we'll see. First of all, though, a stone pickaxe is not going to do it. And I have some iron, but no diamonds. But what I'm actually going to do is craft up a new iron pick and head down into these mines here so that I can go and get a few resources. Because last episode, while I was mining out deep slate and granite for my build, I came across some diamonds. Now, I don't need lapis, so I can't fortune these, unfortunately. But now we can use those diamonds to craft a diamond pickaxe, which will make my life in digging that area out a bit easier. First up, mark out where we want this mine to go. So I'm thinking it's in this gap. How wide do you want it? I reckon 5. So if we say tear this back, this is how wide we want the mine entrance to be. And we want to dig into the terrain. About 3 higher, I think makes sense. On that kind of height will work. And then start heading down. And I'm just going to start on one side, and then I'll do the others afterwards. I've just stopped time lapse because we have arrived in a new uncharted cave, which contains amethyst. It contains mobs, undoubtedly, that I need to not die to. But I'm going to put my shield up. Most importantly, it has lapis. So I'm just going to run around and light this place up a bit more before I risk it. But we're going to grab that lapis and head back to the surface, because I can enchant this with unbreaking and efficiency. It should be very much worth it. We can come back to this later and collect all this iron and everything. If you're curious, that's how much resources I've collected so far. I'm not even at deep slate yet, so this is a pretty good way. If you ever try to just gather a whole bunch of building materials as well, it's a pretty good way to do that. So here's the question: do I just enchant now, or because I have sugarcane growing out down that way, do I enchant now, or do I go looking for cows? What I think I'd prefer to do, rather than just dig a tunnel with a standard pickaxe in some pretty standard armor, is grab some of this wheat right here I have been diligently farming up, and go on a quest to find some cows so I can start a little animal farm of cows, so that we can get a full enchanting setup. Because at this point I'm fed up with doing these projects without any enchantments, and I prefer to do it correct. Do this again, I'm kind of trying to avoid using F3 whenever possible. I'll use it for like the location of like Y level, for instance, and I've technically got this in footage, so I can always use it if needed to get home if I get really lost. But what I really want to do is try to do it in world as much as possible, and for that I need a lodestone and compass. And again, we'll make this look much prettier later, but for now we're just gonna place a lodestone, use that to guide us. And I reckon I came from this direction, so we're going to explore off this way and find some cows and bring them home. Now we have a bunch of cows, and we'll create a proper pen for them later. Before any of that, I did also spot while I was out there a handful of chickens. So I'm going to put myself through the entire process again, but this time to get chickens instead, because I want to make sure that I can get arrows in the future, and that requires feathers. So now we do in fact have a bunch of cows and a handful of chickens for us to start farming up some arrows. And obviously what we really came for was the cows, because we need leather with which to make our enchanting table. So because we need it to make books. And speaking of books, down here we're also growing some sugarcane. We probably want to harvest this whenever we can and just grow it. Just keep it growing on all these sand blocks around here so that we can make enough books for this enchanting table. So now we just need to keep harvesting this wheat so that we can breed up these cows. Like so. All that work we did last episode is paying off again because we now actually have a steady supply of wheat to use. We have the leather, hopefully. We have the sugarcane, hopefully. They're both getting worked on. And we have the lapis in our chests. What's the one other thing we need for enchanting? That's right. Levels, and I can't have 33 levels from just playing this game out, which is pretty good. It will give me maybe one level 30 enchant, like it'll cost like 3 levels, so I can get, well, maybe 2. I think I could get 2 technically from this. That's not great if I'm trying to go for full level 30 enchants on all my gear and tools. You may have spotted these guys over here who popped up in episode 2. I'd found just over there some pigs and armadillos, and I was going to hope today to use these armadillos to actually make an XP farm to get more than 33 levels fairly quickly. However, I have realised that requires potions of infestation, which requires blaze rods, which requires me going to the nether. And last time I went to the nether on this series, it did not end well. Not at all. In fact, this series ended because I went to the nether. So I don't want to do that right now. I'd prefer to go and do some other things in this space before leaving for the nether, meaning an armadillo XP farm is not really an option. So now what I'd like to do is head out and see if we can find a fairly exposed cave spider spawner. I know there's ones over there, but I found some earlier. So I'm just going to go over here and see if there's some surface exposed spawners. Nope, there's the spawner. Nope, nope, nope. I'm poisoned, I'm poisoned, I'm poisoned. Okay, breathe, breathe, breathe. Just one spider, I can have that. Breathe. Light that up. Now if I understand this correctly, we need a 9x9 area around the spawner. And just like that, we have ourselves a cave spider spawner farm grinder thing. Right here, if we wait, some of them will spawn in a second. It's not the fastest thing ever. Any second now. Any second. Here we go. Where's your brothers? There they are. You get spiders for XP. As you can see, I've been using a bit. I now have 45 levels, which is much better than, like, what was it, 33 I was on. I can come back here for more whenever I need it. And I've built this little thing here so I don't die to all the mobs who want me dead down there in the mine shafts. Well, now that we have that level situation sorted out, we can finally get enchanting. Yes, that's right. I built an entire new story for my enchanting table because I didn't like how it looked up there, just a random place. So now we have a basement area, which is going to double up as bulk storage for items I have a lot of. Most importantly, where I'm storing my little enchanting table here, which will in fact give us level 30 enchants. But now that little side mission is done, why don't we head back to the cave and grab some resources? Okay, well now that we have our new armor, I think it's time to collect up some of these resources before we start digging again. Let's get a new pickaxe, I think, because this one is going to die and I can combine it with an anvil and get a very good one. We get Fortune 2, so not perfect, but not bad. Efficiency 4, and I'm breaking 3 pickaxe. Okay, now that our side quest actually finished, let's go and finish digging out this tunnel. Okay, now that we've dug this big hole, I think it's time to actually go and decorate it at least a little bit. So I've got all these resources. Most of this is just from having mined this place out. But then I've also got some wood for some decoration and some leaves. And it's not going to be perfect. I would like to smelt some of this into regular stone and coral deep slate and regular deep slate to give it a bit more texture variation, along with some other resources I don't have. But this should be good for now. We're probably just going to focus on this main entrance and a bit into this for now, just because I don't think I'm going to finish all of this episode. But I may do some work slowly on this off camera between episodes. So let's get started working with some of this stuff. Okay, if we start with the entrance, well, just do something to show that this is a mine entrance. And also let's decorate the floor here as well. So let's cut out all of this and kind of have a stony little entrance here. No, I think what I want to do is actually have some stairs. So how does this feel if I have stairs coming down like this? Obviously I can't get up here yet. But does that feel like I'm hitting my head? Kinda. I probably want to take this all one block further down, which is going to be a lot more mining. That is fine. Although I think I might keep the middle open for maybe a minecart track in the future. So maybe this can remain just like cobble. Okay, and now in terms of this, we want this to also be like cobble, really. Okay, I think that works as a nice base for the mine. Nice base texture. I would like to add other textures in, however. That's my issue right now, is I don't have any other textures and it looks a bit bland. But let's just get some like andesite to see how that might look. Okay, that variation I felt is already helping. Just adding a bit of andesite into the walls and a bit on the ceiling as well. And I can also add some to the floor here. I got the regularity a bit in places. I would also like to smelt something back into stone, using stone, because also I don't have silk touch. So that would be very helpful. But right now I don't have that. So let's just stick with andesite. And then also if we turn some of this stuff into walls, we can use the walls in the... Just adding in these details, it already starts to look like way better than if I hadn't. And then we can also go in places and add some overhanging like leaves and stuff. They'll like build up. So, and then this is starting to feel more like not quite abandoned, but not mine shop. We could add cobwebs if I collect them later as well. That is definitely a possibility. Now, how regular do we want these? Like, I feel like down here, this far down, look good. But as you come down, doesn't block your head. It looks somewhat reasonable, I guess. So yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with this. I like the way it looks. I think it fits well into the theming, and it works with this one here as well. Obviously, I'll have to add more torches and lanterns to this in the future to light it up. But I think the general look and feel of this mine shaft is definitely coming along, and I just need to extend this now all the way down. You can see I've got these logs placed presenting where I'm going to be putting more archways as I go down, all the way down to bedrock. But that is going to have to do it for this episode. I've still got a bunch of resources here to make use of in this mine shaft, but I'm about out of time for making this episode, and I feel like you got the general idea. Next episode, it'll be done, hopefully, but I've just had no time to finish it before I want to get this episode up. And we've done a lot of side quests today as well. So that will be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the videos. We're a very small channel, and it'd be cool if you did so. And leave a comment to let me know what you think of this space or my enchanting room down there, whatever it is. It'd be great to have your feedback. I'm still learning all this building stuff, so it'd be great to hear what you guys think down in the comment section below. So that will be it for today, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode where this will hopefully be done, and we can probably get a better pen for our animals than just sitting up there. Okay, goodbye everyone. Bye.